Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is That One Kyle, and today we have a BMW X6 2020 in for some paint correction and a ceramic coating. Really interesting, guys. So today I have a really cool job to do. I'm going to be doing a paint correction and ceramic coating on this 2020 BMW X6. It's looking pretty sweet already, but the customer wants it to be perfect. So my idea with this series is going to be to break down the videos into sections. The first video is going to be the paint decontamination wash process, paint prep process, before we do any polishing or ceramic coating or anything like that. The second video is going to be the paint correction. We're only going to be doing a single stage on that, but I'll kind of just walk you through the steps on that to make sure that you guys know how we do it. And then the third video is actually going to be the ceramic coating video. So I'll talk to you in depth about the specific coatings that we're using and then how we use them. And then actually I think I'm going to do a fourth video on the wheel coating specifically. This car we're actually doing a wheels off coating, so we'll jack it up in the air, take the wheels off, deep clean them, and then coat them as well. Let's just jump right into the first video of the paint decontamination process and the wash. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is pre-soak the car with P21S Total Auto Wash. It's a citrus-based all-purpose cleaner, basically. You could use it for a wash process, or you can use it, I think, in a soap bucket. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use it as a pre-soak to eat away the dirt and grime that is sitting on the car and hopefully eat away at the protection that's also on there. Kind of try and break it down before we start washing it. It's worth noting too that sometimes you'll want to rinse it down, especially if it's a hot day and you want to make sure the paint is cool to the touch. You don't want it to be overly hot or else this will dry, and you don't want this to dry on the paint. You don't want any chemicals to dry on the paint. But since this was raining, the car is cool and it is already a little wet, so we're just going to rinse it, so we're just going to spray it down. Again, the idea of this is to break down some of that protection that's on there, whether it's wax or whatnot. I want to strip the surface as best as possible. Cool. Now we just rinse down with a pressure washer. All right. Chemical Guys Clean Slate. I like this stuff for just kind of degreasing and just stripping and prepping the paint surface. It's just a citrus cleaner, basically. Yeah, it works pretty good. So we'll put some in the bucket. Something I just want to make a note of, I won't be cleaning the wheels in this video because, like I said, we're going to be doing a wheels off coating, which means we'll jack the car up, pull the wheels off, and then coat them. And so once the wheels are off, I'll just do the deep cleaning at that point, and save me a little bit of pain trying to clean the wheels while they're on the car. All right, so go into the soap with the citrus wash. While it's super sudsy, I go in with a small soft bristle brush around the edges. Trying very hard not to scratch the car, but we will be doing a paint correction, so it's not that pertinent. Now we go in with a microfiber wash mitt. Again, utilizing the 2-bucket method. And like I said, we'll be doing a paint correction on this. So not that it doesn't matter, but we don't have to be so particular with how we wash the car and accidentally introducing like micro scratching, because we'll be polishing that out. So it's not a big deal. But you never want to introduce more scratches for no reason, so we still take precaution. Now we rinse. Alright, so now that the wash is done, we're going to start the chemical decontamination process. The first thing we do, hit it with some Geon iron. Geon iron removes all the iron fallout and brake dust from the paint surface and the wheels. Iron fallout is just like pretty much particles in the air that get stuck in the paint. Your paint is porous, like your skin, so it holds very, very small contaminants, and that's what we're trying to decontaminate in this process. We're trying to strip and pull all of those little contaminants out of the pores of the paint, make it super, super smooth and really, really clean, so that we can coat it and protect it and seal it all in. So let's go ahead and spray it down with this and then rinse it off. Alright, so there's 2 more steps in the decontamination process. One of them is Geon Q2M tar or CarPro Tar X or something like that. What this does is it just breaks down tar very, very easily. You spray it on, let it sit for a minute, and then wipe it away. And then clay, if you don't know about clay, Google it. There's a lot of information out there about clay, so I'm not really going to go into too much depth about this, but basically you just rub it on the paint and it just grabs all those little particles and pulls them out. It can cause scratching, so we don't really want to do this all the time. We only really want to do it when we're polishing the paint. There are some more milder clay methods, like a clay mitt, that you can probably get away with between, like if you just want to wax the car and make sure it's like decontaminated before that. But traditional clay like this, you should probably only use if you're going to be polishing the paint. So normally I would do this first because I want to remove all the tar, and the clay has some trouble getting the tar off. If you just hit tar with the clay, it'll start to spread it, and you don't want the tar to spread everywhere. So I usually remove tar first and then clay it. However, with black vehicles, it's very difficult to see the tar and where the tar is, especially when it's wet. So what I do is I clay first, and I have a good idea of when I'm hitting tar, because it kind of gets really, really sticky. So I'll make sure to double check this quite often to make sure there's no tar on it. And if there is tar, I'll just skip that spot and move on. And then what we'll do is we'll dry the car off and then use this so that once the car's dry, I'm able to see where the tar is, and we'll remove any tar on it. But since this is a brand new vehicle, I don't expect there to be too much tar, so that's another reason why I'm going to be doing this first. So the process is pretty simple. You just kind of knead it a little bit to like a flat patty, like yay big. I usually do about 3 fingers or so, and then use a clay luber. A lot of people use soap, just like they just use the foam cannon and foamy soak the car up and clay it with that. That's fine, that works fine. I just think this is a little bit more controlled, and I can spray a little bit more if I need to. You want to make sure this is super, super lubricated so that it's not scratching too much. So you just really just spray it a lot on the paint. Notice the car is still wet, again, to help reduce scratching. And then we just go in and just rub it on the paint. All right, as expected, I didn't see too much tar. I didn't feel too much tar, but we'll take a closer look once we dry it off. So we'll just rinse it down and then go ahead and dry it. All right, now we use a big old waffle weave drying towel and dry the car, again in straight lines to try and not scratch it. Yeah, I wonder if you can see this right now, but the water is definitely not beating nearly as well as it was when we first got it. So we're doing a good job with the decontamination, making sure to strip all that wax off of there. All right, now 2 final things for the paint prep and decontamination. One is to fully dry it. So we're going to be using a air gun, and we'll just blow out all the crevices and then wipe it dry. All right, so the paint is fully dry. Everything has been chemically and mechanically decontaminated, washed. The paint should be really clean at this point. The last, but definitely not the least step, is to hit it with something like Geon Prep. You could also use G-Technics panel wipe or an isopropyl water dilution ratio or dilution mix. Something like that would be fine. This is just a final wipe down to really remove any of the oils from the soap, from the previous wax, anything like that. So we're just going to spray it liberally. Spray it on real good, spray the towel a little bit, and I'm just going to wipe it down. And this is just, it's like I said, it's an alcohol-based cleaner, so it just kind of evaporates after you wipe it down. Yep, just like that. So that's going to clean off all of those residues and make it super clean to the touch. And that's it. That's the paint decontamination process. Let's go around the rest of the car and finish this off. Then we'll reconvene and talk about the takeaways. All right, guys, so you just watched the paint decontamination process. First, we did a pre-soak with P21S auto wash. Basically, that is a citrus cleaner to eat away and kind of deteriorate the wax that was previously on the car. Then we followed it up with our basic wash procedure. We foamed down the car using 2 buckets. We used a small brush to get in the small intricacies of like the front bumper and the rear bumper, and then wash it down with a microfiber mitt. Step 3 was to hit it with iron remover, something like Geon iron or CarPro iron remover. That's going to remove all the iron fallout, the brake dust from the wheels, brake dust from other cars driving by you, something like that. Get the surface really clean of all those iron particles. Step 4, clay bar the car. You saw me use the little clay pad, then the clay luber. We just clayed down the car, clayed down the paint surface to remove any of those small contaminants in the pores of the paint. Step 5 was to dry the car fully. So we dried it with a microfiber towel at first, waffle weave, a big one. I actually had to use 2 towels on this car since it's so big. And then we followed it up with a compressor and some compressed air and blew out all the crevices of water and dried all that off also. And finally, step 6 was to hit it with the prep solution. So we used Geon Prep, sprayed it down liberally, and what that does is it really fully wipes away and strips any leftover wax or oils from the soap, from the iron remover, from the tar, anything like that. It cleans it all up and brings it down to just the clear coat. So at this point, the car is stripped completely down to the clear coat. Nothing is on the paint surface other than the paint itself and the clear coat. This is when we're going to go ahead and do the polishing, do the ceramic coating and everything onward. A few things I want to say about the decontamination process. Firstly, It's probably one of my least favorite things to do. Use a lot of nasty chemicals. Everything gets wet. I get wet. My hands get dry because they're in water the whole time. It's just kind of tedious and annoying, but it is probably the most important step for this whole thing. Without getting the paint fully cleaned and fully decontaminated, your paint correction process won't be as good. You won't have as good a result. And then on top of that, the ceramic coating won't be able to bond to the clear coat as well as you'd hoped. The ceramic coating needs a really clean surface. It's designed to bond directly to the clear coat, and if there's things in between the clear coat and the coating, it just won't do as well. So in turn, it won't perform as well. So you won't get as good hydrophobicity, it won't last as long, all sorts of things. So it's really, really important to get the paint decontaminated and cleaned, and that's the most important step of this whole process. So stay tuned for the next video. The next one is going to be the paint correction. What I'll do before that is I'll take the wheels off so I can get those prepped and ready for the video. I'll be releasing the paint correction process next. It's not too much. It's very similar to my last video that you can take a look at up here. On the third video, we're going to be doing the ceramic coating. I'll go over a little bit of background on the coatings we use and why I use them, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I use them. And the fourth video is going to be the wheel coating, and that's going to include both prep, cleaning, wheel coating, and everything in between. So that'll be an inclusive video. All right, so if you liked this and you want to stay tuned for those next few videos, please give this video a thumbs up, and then hit the subscribe button and follow my videos so that you can see more of this and more of the procedure. And then also leave a comment in the section below if you want to see any more videos or want to have a question about paint decontamination or ceramic coatings, paint correction, whatever. I release videos every Monday, and these I will actually be releasing in succession, so they'll be coming out right after another. But stay tuned for more videos. I'm signing off, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.